Oh, hi Nate. It's me, Anthony Fritchley here. And today, I want to show you something that was very, very special. I want to show you, Nate. Do you want to see it? Great. I want to show you something very, very special and something very, very cool I want to show you. I just want to show you something that is homemade I want to show you. Are you ready? Nate, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Hold on. There we go. Look, Nate, this is actually my new homemade handy dandy notebook, Nate. Yeah, this is my homemade handy dandy notebook, Nate. Yeah, look how pretty cool I made on my homemade handy dandy notebook, Nate. And if I did show you if I did make a letter for you about the handy dandy notebook, I used to have my old homemade handy dandy notebook, Nate, but I don't have that anymore. So I did finally made a new one. I just been gone for I didn't really have it anymore since 2020 until 2023. I don't really have that anymore. But right now I made a new homemade handy dandy notebook that I made since December 29th of 2024. Look how cool of this homemade handy dandy notebook I want to show you, Nate. As you can see, I also made my homemade. Look! Not only that, look how cool it is. Look how cool this crayon is, Nate. I even have the. I just made the my own homemade label, so it looked like Steve Burns' crayon from Blue's Clues. Except my crayon is small. And it was an ordinary black crayon that was made by Crayola, I just used that crayon, which is not used, which is kind of pretty new. So as you can see, Nate, I just made a stripe that looks like Steve Burns's. Well, it came with a green paper, but I just drew a color, the dark green one, as you can see, Nate. You can call it the point, and it is black crayon, as you can see, Nate. And here's the front of this, and here's the homemade handy dandy notebook, Nate, as you can see. So here's the front, and here's the back, as you can see. And when I made a letter for the YouTube users, Nate, I just made one letter segment, and I want to show you what I did. I just made a letter for Jordan. And I want to show you the ending part. I just drew a Blue's Clues and a Nick Jr., as you can see, Nate. Yeah, as you can see, Nate. Look how pretty cool. It looks like details, like whatever that is. I kind of drew myself in a handy dandy notebook. This is actually my homemade handy dandy notebook. I just realized that you have I believe you still have handy dandy notebooks, but I'm not sure if you still have any of the handy dandy notebooks. So Nate, I wonder if you have any handy dandy notebook. And I wonder if you can make your own handy dandy notebook like mine does. Now, you don't have to since you already have any of the handy dandy notebook collection that you have. This is actually my homemade handy dandy notebook. And Nate, I used to have my old homemade handy dandy notebook. I remember it opens like that in the bottom right here. Then just this one, it opens like that. This is kind of like Steve Burns' notebook. Now it just looks like Steve Burns' notebook, the original version of the handy dandy notebook. Except this looks different. And by the way, the front of the paper, these paper I drew and colored, and on the back, this one is taken from these pages, of these paper pages. So I wrote Jordan, so I'm gonna write your name, Nate. I'm just gonna write your first name only. I'm just gonna write Nate only. I'm gonna write your name, Nate. It's kind of like I'm doing my Blue's Clues. I'm writing your name, Nate. Look, I wrote your name, Nate. Well, I might make a letter for Steve, the YouTuber, but I don't know about making a letter for Dan Sobel though, which I know you hated, but I can have your opinion. But anyways. And by the way, this was actually a recycle that was made in 1992. I think Ned Memo notebook, which would have been when it was made. It does say made in 1992 before I made this. Yeah, but I did turn this I just turned itself to my homemade handy dandy notebook. And this crayon, I did remove the Crayola label, and this one I just made this stripe of this one. So I think I'm a winner of making this handy dandy notebook. I am a very expert making this kind. What do you think of my homemade handy dandy notebook? I did put it on and it's glued. Now it's very hard to open. I did have to add a little glue stick on it. So yeah. So Nate the Game You Do 2006. What do you think of my new homemade handy dandy notebook, Nate? I think you probably love my new homemade handy dandy notebook. I'm not sure if you still have the other real handy dandy notebook. I just realized that I believe you have your real handy dandy notebook similar to Steve Burns' notebook and Joe's notebook. I noticed that Steve the YouTuber looks wearing his glasses, not Steve Burns, but Steve the YouTuber, who has his notebook. He has his crayon. Looks like that. So yeah. What do you think of my homemade handy dandy notebooks, Nate? Let me know. So yeah, I think that's all I got to say for this Blues Clues letter segment for you, Nate. That was a very special letter segment for you, Nate. So bye, Nate.